Come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, or your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, who you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes. No matter what you have experienced in the past or what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you're welcome here. Together we are a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. Good morning and welcome to South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. My name is Matthew Morris. My pronouns are he, him. I am wearing an awesome yellow shirt, and I just gave myself a mustache, and it's wonderful. Our beloved Reverend Laura is enjoying her sabbatical. Will return to us in October. We're really excited today to have Kevin Alvey and Becky Condas with us as our guest speakers for this morning's service. Let us now take a moment to fully arrive and welcome each other with joy, but before we do so, let's turn around and wave at our Zoom congregation. Please, let's take a moment and welcome each other with joy.
Good morning. Remain standing as you'd like. As we prepare to light the chalice, receive these words from UK poet Olivia Ann Rose Clark. Softness is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form, wrapped in grace and rooted in resilience. It is the quiet power of a heart that refuses to harden, a gentle defiance against a world that often mistakes kindness for surrender. Choosing softness is choosing to be a light in the shadows, a reminder that strength and tenderness can coexist. As we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith and the light of our commitments to love and justice, receive these words of invocation, which I already read to you. Let us light our chalice. Those are invited to light a chalice and share in this ritual by entering "Chalice is lit" and the name of your street in the chat box on Zoom. Please join me in repeating the chalice lighting words and use our actions if you wish.
We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action, and the flames of resistance.
Once a month, we like to do birthday blessings, and that's today. So if you have a birthday in, what month is it? September? Please come on up and be recognized. Please receive this as it is intended. May this coming year open your mind to new possibilities, discoveries, and dreams. May your heart be joyful and free. May your spirit be moved to deeper wisdom. When adventure beckons, may your courage rise. When sorrow arrives, may friends surround you quickly and well. And may your compassion for self and others grow even more rooted in love and kindness, such that your life proves the essential truth, that with love, all things are possible. May this blessing wend its way into your consciousness whenever you need it the most. This world is better because you are in it, and we are so glad you are here. Thank you all so much.
This community, our church, and its many ministries are only made possible by the gifts you give of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Many of you pledge monthly to support our work, and for this we are grateful. Your gifts help to ensure that we are able to live our values of love and justice in the world outside. Part of our ministry at South Valley includes sharing our Sunday worship offerings with a charitable organization that aligns with our principles and values. Our partner for September and October is Utah Community Action, an organization providing real solutions to families experiencing poverty. Please join me in reading our offertory words. They are printed in your order of service.
We are your church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the love of this community and sustain it with our gifts.
We will now accept the offering. For those at home, you are invited to use the giving link in the online order of service. I invite the ushers to come forward at this time. For all we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to Utah Community Action.
So you've seen the bowls, and we all know what that means. We get to do joys and sorrows. All gathered here today are invited to participate in our ritual of joys and sorrows. Those who are joining us in the virtual community are invited to use the chat box in the Zoom space to share your joys and sorrows. For those gathered here in body, you are invited to approach the altar, either in the front or the back, and place a stone in the water. Feel free to pause as you select your stone and gently place it in the water bowl. You are invited to practice this ritual in silence. At the close of the ritual, when all who wish to have added their stone, we will add a final stone to represent those joys and sorrows unexpressed but still held in kindness. Those gathered here may now begin to process up to the tables. Please approach. See if I can project. I know I said we were going to be having one final stone, but I'd like to do two. One for the people on Zoom, everybody at home watching. And one for all of those joys and sorrows not unsaid. Thank you all for being here today. My name again is Matthew Morris, and I just have a couple things to say. So, life is a kind of music, not a simple melody, but a song woven with both major and minor chords. Some notes lift us, bright and joyful. Others ache, low and unresolved, and yet it is the tension between them that makes the music beautiful. A song with only sweetness is thin. A song with only sorrow is heavy. Together, they create depth, richness, and truth. From this music arises the courage to love, because when we hear the fragile notes, the tremble of a minor key, we are reminded of how fleeting each moment is. We realize the song will not last forever. And so we lean in, we listen harder, we open ourselves. We allow the music to move us, even change us. That is what love born from the full song looks like. It doesn't wait for perfect harmony. It dares to act in the midst of dissonance. It holds the trembling notes, not as interruptions, but as part of the composition. It chooses to give, to forgive, and to embrace, even when the music's uncertain. To live this way is to recognize that life's deepest beauty is not in the perfection, but in its mix of tones. That our very capacity to ache is also what allows us to care so fiercely. That joy and sorrow together call us not to despair, but to love more boldly. So may we listen closely. May we hear the full measure, the bright and the broken, the soaring and the unresolved, and let it shape us into people whose lives themselves become music worth sharing. And now, we have a guest speaker. Kevin, come on down.
I'd like to thank Matthew for those words. My public speaking voice is somewhat halted. And we were at a recital last night, and I heard Claire de Lune, and I thought, that is what I sound like when I public speak. So that being said, here we go. The Tides of Radical Love. On November 22nd, 1963, I was in first grade. The school morning started like any other morning. Over the intercom, we were informed that recess would be early that day. For some reason, it was lasting much longer than others, and until the teachers sent us back to our classroom. When we were informed that President Kennedy was dead and that we should go directly home. This was my first exposure to politics, let alone political violence. At the age of 7, I struggled to understand how, why, what happened, and if I and my family were safe and what would happen next. My parents sat us down and explained the best they could. This was long before Mr. Rogers, and I am very grateful my parents had the insight to do this. This did help, but the why did not make sense. Little did I know the why of political violence I would be obsessed with to this day. March 7th, 1965, at the age of 10, I started watching the evening news with Walter Cronkite. Sunday morning was the day when we relaxed and watched TV. Then suddenly, the show stopped. The anchor was telling us and showing us what was happening on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Seeing the peaceful protesters being run down and beaten by policemen on horseback was horrifying. So many questions. How could one person do that to another? Why would anyone put themselves in a vulnerable position to be violated? How can we stop this injustice? At the age of 15, I'd become a devoted watcher of the evening news. May 4th, 1970 is still one of the hardest days for me to understand. The weekend before Kent State, the ROTC building was burned. This was in protest of the Vietnam War escalating into Cambodia. The National Guard rolled onto campus, and many students wanted to see what was going on. Some of the students were giving flowers to the soldiers, when all of a sudden shots rang out. At the end of the panic, 4 students were dead and 9 were wounded. All of the students were unarmed. To me, all of these acts of violence and many others are appalling. all in the attempt to keep the power in what they considered the right hands. To this day, I do not understand why. I do not agree or promote violence in any form. With the Kennedy assassination, radical love was shown in a way that the nation came together with love, mourning, and respect. But looking at the last two examples, there was a clear picture of us versus them. And there is an argument that the protesters were exercising radical love, putting themselves at risk of violence to protest the inequality. That being said, I still struggle with the senseless political violence. I know that it is about getting or keeping power. I believe we get the best government when we have equal representation. Radical love is not easy. It is not violent. It is not dangerous. But Selma and Kent State and many other events have changed the consciousness of this country. We are at an inflection point. At the end of this, all I am asking is for you to know our history, to stay informed, to never commit acts of violence in any form, and to always react with love. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Becky Condas, and my pronouns are she, her. I am an average height white woman in her mid-50s with short gray-brown hair and glasses, and I'm wearing a bluish-gray dress. The theme for this month is water and flow. I've known about this topic since last spring and spent the summer pondering it on and off, and I really didn't have any ideas. I was thinking a lot about how water and flow reminds me of a river, and rivers are analogous to the concept of time, always moving forward, continuing on without stopping. That didn't have a clear talk path. But then in August, in the space of 1 week, these things happened in my life. My younger daughter, Maggie, went and bought her first new car. My older daughter, Sage, started law school at the University of Utah. My good friend, Freya, moved to California. And my coworker, Brock, announced he's leaving our department and has a new position in the company. All of these things are good things. They are positive happenings in these 4 people's lives. Brock has a new job that will work better for him and his family. Freya has been planning to move out of the country for some time and instead had a great opportunity come up in California. Sage graduated from college in 2020. It's wonderful to see her want something for herself, study for the LSAT, and get into her first choice law school. Maggie's been working full-time as a social worker. She works hard at her job, and it's good to see her enjoy the benefits. So, why was I feeling so sad? Maybe you have felt this too. Maybe one of you dropped your college freshman off at school, and you're so proud, but you also miss them terribly. Maybe you've had the experience of attending a funeral where the loss was so great and you were also glad to see family and friends that you haven't seen in a long time. maybe you, like me, have aging parents, and you think, how long can their decent health last? Maybe you, like me, are divorced, or you've experienced divorce. I was married for 28 years, and I've been divorced for 2 years. Because the marriage didn't succeed, there is now a cloud that hangs over 28 years of my life. But is that the right way to look at it? Does the divorce automatically turn that much of my life into sad memories? Or can I still savor and enjoy all the good that happened to me and my family? This space where we experience either a happy moment tinged with sad or a sad moment tinged with happy is often referred to as bittersweet. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. Bittersweetness is pretty clear-cut. The word describes a pleasant experience marked also with sadness or regret, according to the dictionary. But knowing we have these feelings isn't the same as acknowledging them, especially in our culture of positivity. Often it feels like we must bright side a story so that we appear to be happy about it. As I open this talk, I do feel the pull of telling you over and over, just so you know, I am happy for my daughters and my friend and my coworker. I am happy their lives are moving forward. I feel I must convince you that I'm grateful for these opportunities that they all have. Perish the thought that I acknowledge my sad feelings and seem ungrateful, or feel like I'm making someone else's good story into a sad story about me. Plus, there's the responsibility of sad feelings. We don't want to make our college-age child feel bad that we are sad and miss them, so we just pretend to be happy. I don't want my friend that moved to California to know that I'm sad she left. I can tell her I miss her. That seems okay. But sad? What if knowing I'm sad makes it harder for her? In a similar way, what if we go to that funeral and someone sees us laughing later with some old friends? Will we hurt someone's feelings if we're not sad enough at a funeral? Returning to our topic of water and flow, I do think it connects more with this topic of bittersweetness. If we think of how, like water, feelings rush over us, if we learn to let them flow, we'll have a richer life if we can stop suppressing and pushing down hard feelings. Feelings are also complex. It is possible, in fact, probable, to experience seemingly opposite feelings at the same time. I am happy my daughter bought her first car. I am sad realizing that she is stepping into her independence and she doesn't need me in the same way anymore. I am happy my daughter's in law school. I am sad that I will not see her as much anymore. Why is it so hard to express when you have something sad or difficult going on in your life? For me, it is a couple of things. I don't want to burden you. Telling you how I really feel is vulnerable. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. Being able to handle anything that comes up is part of the fierce independence we Americans are known for. Our culture demands that we be strong, self-sufficient, and meet the ideal of rugged individualism. Yet it is often when someone is sharing a story about hardship that makes them relatable. We like knowing we're not the only ones with a problem. We don't want to feel alone in our pain. When I share part of myself, like now, I know a lot of you may not relate to my exact circumstances, but that you have had your own bittersweet moments connects us. Connection builds relationships. Relationships make community. And community, especially this community, here and now, can save us from the despair of our current moment. What I want to get across to you is that life is hard, feelings are complex, and if we allow ourselves some vulnerability to walk the path of both and, our lives can be fuller, richer, closer to each other. Perhaps it is as simple as the conclusion of the Pixar movie Inside Out, where Joy finally realizes she has to work with sadness to build a rich and complex emotional life that builds empathy and connection. Finally, I want to play a video for you from my favorite poet. Andrea Gibson was Colorado's poet laureate and a well-known spoken word artist. They died 2.5 months ago from ovarian cancer. Andrea Gibson's art reflected a love of this world and seeing beauty even in the midst of pain and hardship. This is their poem, How the Worst Day of My Life Became the Best.
Hello, friends. Hi. I wanted to make a little video and thank you all so much for all the love that you've sent my way these past couple of weeks. I'm so grateful to every single one of you. I'm about, I don't know how many days into chemo I am now. But as you can see, my hair is really dirty because I stopped washing it. Because whenever I wash it, more of it falls out. I'll show you something weird. Like I just go like this, and that much hair just falls out, which is strange, but it's sort of tender also, how it just is like sweetly lets go. I was thinking about this poem. I finally got my hands on my new book, You Better Be Lightning. And I was thinking about this poem that has been on my mind all week, and I'm going to share it with you. It's called How the Worst Day of My Life Became the Best. And it starts with a quote by Eckhart Tolle. And the quote is, "When you are trapped in a nightmare, your motivation to awaken will be so much greater than that of someone caught up in a relatively pleasant dream." And I felt a lot of that lately. A lot of waking up. A lot of waking up to beauty in a way that I had never been woken up to it before. So here's a poem. When I realized the storm was inevitable, I made it my medicine. Took 2 snowflakes on the tongue in the morning, 2 snowflakes on the tongue by noon. There were no side effects, only sound effects. Reverb added to my lifespan, an echo that asked, what part of your life's record is skipping? What wound is on repeat? Have you done everything you can to break out of that groove? By nighttime, I was intimate with the difference between tying my laces and tuning the string section of my shoes, made a symphony of walking away from everything that did not want my life to sing. Felt the love for myself so consistent, metronomes try to copyright my heartbeat. Finally understood I am the conductor of my own life and will be even after I die. I, like the trees, will decide what I become. Porch swing, church pew, an envelope that must be licked to be closed. Kinky choice. But I didn't close. I opened and opened until I could imagine the pain was a sensation of my spirit not breaking, that my mind was a parachute that could always open in time, that I could wear my heart on my sleeve and never grow out of that shirt, that every falling leaf is a tiny kite with a string too small to see, held by the part of me in charge of making beauty out of grief. That should be the time when Squash applauds. Do you not want to applaud Squishy Squash? Can you say hi to everyone at least? I'm so bored by poetry. Love you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. And Kevin, thank you both. Please stand in body, mind, and spirit as you are willing and able for our closing hymn, number 1015, I Know I Can, and we will sing the first 3 verses.
As you go forth. Oh, sorry. Please remain standing as you are. As you wish for the extinguishing of the chalice, and join us in our actions as we extinguish the chalice. The words are in your order of service, and you're invited to say them out loud with me.
We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action.
We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
Okay, and I offer you this benediction. As you go forth, know this: there will be more joy, there will be more sorrow, and you are not alone in this. Maybe you recognize this from the U2 song. One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other. Carry each other. Please remain for the postlude.
Amen.